morning, everybody. Give ourselves a little more room here. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talks. Sunday stream of consciousness. Great to have you all with us this morning. Just got off a very lively episode of this big football show. A lot of fun was had there, as always, with Brian and Jack and James. Great to have you with us. Great to have everybody here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the groups that allow us to share. You see a lot of them sharing. We are live. Some of our favorites groups scrolling at the bottom. I'll mention in a second. We're live on the McGrath streaming podcast project. You can see the Mac logo up here, the late great Mac McGrath. We're happy to be branding National Streaming Sports, which TGI Sports is a big part of, into the McGrath streaming podcast project. And we'll have some new lead-ins, lead-outs, whatever, or lead-outs, whatever there. But anyway, we appreciate everybody tunes in and participates. This is your show. We'll have lots to talk about. I'll give you a little rundown here in a second. Thank you to the groups, the specific groups we'll mention, as always. John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings at America's Pastime, The Love for Baseball, Flo and Can over at Bottom Line Sports. Great podcast. We'll try to do a better job of sharing their podcast live Tuesday, although we'll be on live Tuesday at 7 as well, which we'll talk about in a second. What else was I going to say? Who else? Bottom Line Sports, I've mentioned. Let's Talk Sports, where they do their exclusive podcast, I think, to first, and then some of them, and then others are shared to other areas like ours later on. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ken Krause at Golf Bud Sports of all sorts. Thumbs up to DDH as well. And we're happy to have you guys with us. Lots to talk about going forward. Playoffs yesterday get started, the college football playoffs. We had two really interesting games this weekend, one Friday, one Saturday, and two blowouts. We'll talk about the Group of Five fallout that may have befall the Group of Five from these results. We'll talk about the great throwback game we saw. I think it was a great game. If you like offense, you hated this game, but Miami and Texas A&M played a great slugfest. And we'll talk about what's to come in the next round of games that will be played before we air this show again next week. What else in college? Michigan's still looking for a coach. Kenny Dillingham, as I said would happen, has re-signed an extension with ASU. He will not be taking that job. Jed Fish looks to be out of that job. So we'll talk about some of that as well. In the NFL, we had a couple of great games. Thursday night, we had a great game with the Rams in Seattle. The Rams ended up firing their special teams coach. We had the Bears. Listen, you can bash Caleb Williams all you want, friends. Caleb Williams showed again yesterday why he's growing into a very, very good NFL quarterback. And when you can play badly for 3 quarters and rally your team and watch him lead that team in the huddle yesterday, keep bashing him. In the Eagles game, ridiculous angst over a 2-point conversion. Just please. Love gets hurt in the Green Bay game too as well, by the way. The Rams fired their special teams coordinator. We talk about the Phillip Rivers. Listen, anybody who said he looked great last week, what were you watching? Please tell me. Please. I had some people Monday morning on Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook tell me how great he played. He didn't play great. Couldn't throw the ball more than 6 yards. MLB Dodgers got a record $169 million luxury tax bill. Yankees still very quiet. They do say Blackmon, but they lose out on Michael King as they sit and wait for Bellinger to make a deal, which seems to be the linchpin for them. Other guys are falling by the wayside. We had the Jake Paul debacle on Netflix, if you want to talk about that, the WNBA labor dispute. What are you women thinking about? The league doesn't make any money. Knicks win the NBA Cup. Nobody cares. They're not going to raise a banner. Thank God. Fun. Great. Move on. What else? I got the music playing. College basketball. St. John's loses another tough one, man. They have not played well. With the Big East schedule getting ready to start, they have not played well in non-conference. And Texas Tech beats an undefeated Duke team yesterday. That's our rundown, and we welcome in. This is you. It's your show. Oh, guys, where do you want to start? Who's with us here today so far? We got a quiet start to the show this morning. Good morning, Chris. Good to have you with us. Is CJ Carr the Jet? No, I don't. No. CJ Carr's improved 100%. And I'm gonna say his weapons are not nearly as good as Johnny Manziel's weapons when we're talking about Mike Evans, and especially Mike Evans, who's going to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL. There are some other guys that, if I'm going to talk about CJ Carr, Chris, I'd talk about saying more than I talk about CJ Carr and weapons you're throwing to. But interesting stuff, and we'll get into it good as well. Good morning, Rick. Good to have you with us. Are we live or not? No, I don't see us live on TGI Sports Talk, and I'm going to be very ticked off if we're not. It looks like we are. All right, cool. In any event, I'm going to start with the Miami game because that's where my heart lies. Wish Danny Fuller was here. I know Danny wanted a helmet to helmet or something, targeting or something called on that last one of the last drive by Texas A&M, but that was not a penalty. I can tell you this was a good. We're going to talk, and there's going to be a lot of people talking about. Listen, Miami's got no chance against Ohio State because their offense was so bad. Well, their offense ran for about 250 yards yesterday. Mark Fletcher Jr. was just a monster. Carson Beck was not good. Malik Toney, who's not only the best freshman in the country, one of the most electric players in the country in total. I will tell you right now. God forbid he should hit the portal, man. In the spring. Can't do it now, probably. Hopefully. But this team rallies late. Malik makes a horrible turnover late in that game, but it didn't really cost any points. But then he redeems himself with a great jet sweep. A touchdown that was set up by Fletcher just monstering his way down the field. This Miami defense and the Texas A&M defenses, that was what set the tone for yesterday's game. The offenses are what they are, man. Not every game's going to be, 45-40. You're going to run into actual good defenses sometimes in college football still, and you saw two of the best in the country yesterday face off. Quarterback who made the least mistakes won. Carson Palmer didn't play great, but he took better care of the ball than Marcus Reed. Marcus Reed showed he's got some work to do. But again, we tend to, we'll talk about it in the Bears game and other games too. We tend to talk about what guys don't do and not the things that cause them to do the things they did. If guys play badly, we don't give the defense any credit. These were two great defensive teams, well coached. Now they get Ohio State. The ante's upped. I look at schedules, though. I don't know that Ohio State's any better than Texas A&M. Their offense should be better. They got two of the best wide receivers in the country, and saying, is going to be a little more accurate, I think, than Marcus Reed was yesterday. And in the Alabama-Oklahoma game, down 17-0, Alabama could have just folded up the tents. Give Ty Simpson credit. He didn't play well early, but he came back and played really well. The interception near the end of the half that tied it at 17 was just a breaking point for Oklahoma. Alan, if you're out there, I know you think this is a successful season. I'm sure that it is. It certainly saves Brent Venables' job if it was, in fact, in doubt. But at the end of the day, you just lost a game you were in control of early and couldn't finish the job. That said, they go to Indiana. They're going to play Indiana. Sorry, not go to Indiana, but they'll play Indiana in the Rose Bowl, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think Indiana wins this game easily. And in the other two games, people will look at. If you get up this morning, you look at the Oregon score, and you think that they gave Oregon. James Madison gave them a game. Don't be misled. This game was never in doubt. It was over in the first quarter. And much of the yardage, and I think they had 500 yards offense, James Madison, but they were, in desperation mode. It was garbage time pretty much, from the middle of the second quarter on, maybe before. They really didn't get anything going until late in the half. Tulane, same thing. Jake Ratzliff was just a turnover machine, a mistake machine, and Mississippi didn't miss a beat. That was one of the big stories, too. Would Mississippi miss a beat with the coaching change from Lane Kiffin? And I think that's supporting staff being allowed to go back, the people who had left for LSU with Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss Jr., and 4 other offensive assistants were allowed to return to this team for the playoff run. And I think that was a right decision by the university. Don't let Lane Kiffin back, but I'll let the assistants back. It's only fair to the kids. Ole Miss might have a chance against Georgia. We'll see. They beat them once. Defense was really good yesterday. Chambliss was really good yesterday. Injury to Lacey, the running back. We'll see if that factors in. But Ole Miss, a big storyline, I think, yesterday. Another storyline is the group of fives and what's going to happen here. I'm all for giving the little guy a chance. We know that I have championed a playoff that would allow all the conference champions in, plus however many at-larges you want. Go to 16 teams and have 6 at-larges. Go to 24 teams and have 10 at-larges. I don't care. But you're not getting the best 12 teams. If you're going to let these group of 5 teams in, a group of 6 next year, you're going to have to make them be among the top 12 teams, or at least in the top 15 or something. These teams have no chance. And they shouldn't be expected to have a chance. I'll tell you what, though, Malik Toney, you can bottle him up for a while. You can't contain him. He's one of the most electric players in the country. Andy Van Slyke gets a Social Security check today. Come on. Only if he wants it. I'm 65 and I haven't got mine yet. I think I'll wait. Till I'm 70. I'm not sure yet. Maybe 67, maybe 68. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Toronto Raptors showing the rewards for patience in their rebuild. I haven't really looked at the NBA a lot, Chris, quite frankly. I know the Knicks win the cup. The Knicks have played well. I didn't think we'd get into the Knicks this early, so you caught me a little off guard here. The Knicks have gotten off to a good start under Mike Brown in a brand new system, and they're playing really good basketball. They're notorious slow starters, and they're playing really well. Raptors at 17-12. Chris up there, he's our Canadian correspondent, so he's got his finger on the pulse of Canadian winter sports. Has heavyweight boxing lightened into pure celebrity fluff? It has. Jack and I talked about it Friday. Jack Hirsch is a boxing Hall of Fame writer. Jack knows more about boxing. He's forgotten more about boxing than I have ever known in my entire life combined. And yeah, it's gotten to be like the WWE is what it's gotten to be. And Jake Paul shouldn't be fighting heavyweights, by the way. He's a cruiserweight, and it showed. Do you see how much bigger Tucker was than him? And Jake Paul getting his jaw busted in 2 places. That a double broken jaw. I believe he's broken on both sides. What that means. Thank God I'm not paying. I am paying for it. It's included in my subscription. My own fault for turning it on. The Alabama-Oklahoma game got over, and I said, oh, I guess I got time to watch this fight. Dull. Dull doesn't even describe it. Hello, Paul Spada. Sorry, Spada. I'm just kidding you. Paul Spada. I'm going to say congratulations to your Ducks yesterday, but man, don't take the foot off the gas pedal. Although probably the best thing that happened to Oregon yesterday, Paul, was not playing up to their potential like Dan Lanning thinks they should. Because now Dan Lanning gets to really coach them this week where, you know, if they won this game by 50, maybe he wouldn't be able to coach them up as well. But congratulations, a good win as it should have been. I see Ken out there. How you doing? Michael Abrams is out there somewhere. But, you know, the college football playoff is going to have to, and we'll probably circle back to this, so I'm not going to spend a lot more time on it right now. We got bigger games this weekend to take a look at. And I'm not crazy about the schedule, by the way, because now I've got to get rid of or eat my first night of funny tickets that we go to historically, because now Ohio State and Miami is playing at 7:30 on New Year's Eve. Guess who's going to be home watching a game? Me. On January 1st, you're going to get at 12 o'clock Oregon and Texas Tech. I like Texas Tech a lot. That game is in the Orange Bowl, by the way. The Rose Bowl at 4 o'clock. We'll have Alabama against Indiana. I like Indiana here. I think the seeds hold here, 1-4. Georgia, Ole Miss. I'm not sure now. I like Georgia because they've been getting better and better and better. But Ole Miss showed yesterday that it will be in this game, and they've already beaten Georgia once. Golding did a good job, by the way, yesterday. Never been a head coach before. There's not a tougher spot. I get you're getting Tulane. But still, you're coaching in a college football playoff, your first ever head coaching assignment. He did a great job. And relying on these offensive coaches and the defense, which really falls under his purview, has played pretty well. That game, I'm going to still say Georgia. And I know it's going to feel homerish. Ohio State, I still think, is the best team in the country. I do think that Miami's going to find a way to win this game. That's going to be the Cotton Bowl. That's going to be, again, New Year's Eve, 7:30. Won't be much going on other than that game. Big audience will be there for that game, I guarantee you, on ESPN. Miami plays better against better competition than they do against bad competition or lesser competition, let's say. They've got talent. Somebody said on the college football huddle, I think the other night, that, you know, that Miami didn't match up talent-wise with these other schools. I disagree 100%. They've got talent. They got 2 first-round picks on the defensive line. Ruben Bain's going to be a top 5 pick. They've got wide receiver weapons. They've got running. You saw Mark Fletcher Jr. yesterday. That offensive line is got a couple All-Americans on it. There's lots of talent. The problem has been game day, putting it together, coaching. Game day coaching. Mario Cristobal is a really good recruiter. I think he's a really good practice coach, but he has not shown, and yesterday that changed a little bit, and the Miami staff has not shown to be great game day coaches. And they're better, and they show up better, and maybe I should amend that to be when the team is expected to win. When they play lesser teams, they don't. Well, I shouldn't say that. The last 4 weeks of the season, they did blow teams out. They have some momentum. Momentum's a real thing. Maybe we're not live on my personal page. Let me just check that out. But I think it's going to be an exciting weekend. It's going to be these are all great matchups. I mean, Alabama is the worst team left here in my mind. Sorry, I know they're ranked ahead of Miami, but I think they're really good matchups. I think that's the only game that could turn into a blowout. And I don't think that'll happen either. Couple touchdowns, baby. And the group of fives are in trouble. They're going to find a way. This will never happen where you get two of these group of five or group of six teams in here again. Never. They'll find a way to make sure that doesn't happen. And I think they're going to amend the rules that, you know, if you're not one of the top 12 or top 16, whatever number is in the tournament, you can't play. I'm all for including these guys. I don't want this to be a two-league tournament playoff. I don't know that I want it to be a four-league playoff. But you've got to be competitive. And if you're not going to finish, if there's 12, if you want the best 12 teams, you can't take one of those teams, much less two of them, unless they're in the top 12 teams in the country, and they aren't. And if you're a Notre Dame fan, that's where you ought to be angry. And by the way, you get votes with the conferences that run the playoff. You voted for this. Don't be mad at Alabama. Don't be mad at Miami. Notre Dame fans yesterday lighting up social media that the Miami-Texas A&M game is proof they belong in the playoff. Shut up and beat the teams. You didn't beat either one of them. Come on. And I'm a Notre Dame. I'm a guy who says Notre Dame belongs in the tournament because they are probably one of the top 5 teams in the country right now. I mean, you got to earn your way in, right? And I've been a proponent of this tournament, this playoff for a long time, and the last 2 years have shown me that it doesn't work the way it should. Do we get a national championship decided on the field? Yes. And listen, no matter what we do, we're probably going to end up with these first round stinkers anyway, because once you expand to 16 or 24 or whatever it might be, you're going to get first round stinkers no matter what you do. Right now, if Notre Dame and Texas had played in two of these games yesterday, would those games have been better against Oregon and Ole Miss? Yes. I mean, one of those teams might have lost, in fact. But don't be fooled by the James Madison score. That was not a football game. Los Angeles Kings playing good hockey. Anzi Kopitar, if I'm saying his name correctly, in his final season, and Corey Perry set for double-digit goals yet again. We haven't talked a lot of hockey. I'm glad Chris has taken us down that road a little bit, because we will have to start transitioning in January and February a little bit more into the NBA and the NHL. Some good stories in the NHL. The Kings, being one of them at 15-10, they're not off to a bad start. But how about the Colorado Avalanche? We've talked about the Thunder in the NBA, but the Avalanche off to a 25-2 start and 7 overtime losses. But tremendous start by Colorado. Good morning, Michael. Good to have you with us. Please check out Michael's latest article on TGI Sports Talk's Facebook page. And, Michael, we will talk once we get into the new year. And I got a vacation coming the end of January, so we should probably hook up before then. His daughter has graciously offered to help with a website for TGI Sports Talk. And hopefully that is something we can put into fruition here in the early part of this year. UNLV winning basketball games with less than 94 points per game. Well, I think that's a veiled shot at their maybe not a veiled shot. Historically, they've been a run and gun team. Vegas hasn't been really relevant in quite a while in college basketball. What are they doing? Quite frankly, I don't even know because we haven't dove into that. We will be in the college sports huddle. And I hope you guys like some of the new logos and a team, I should say, show slides I put together. Hope you like the new layouts and such. What was I talking about? Vegas? Where are they playing now? Mountain West, right? Mountain West, very underrated conference, by the way. Vegas off to a 5-6 start. Not a good start for Vegas for sure. And St. John's, by the way, what are they? They've fallen out. I think they've fallen out of the top 25. No, they're still 22. They'll probably fall out after their loss to Kentucky yesterday. 7-4 overall before league play starts. Now, that's not going to hurt them necessarily. Paul saying good morning again. Good morning, Paul Spada. We got a quiet crowd today for a Sunday. You guys usually carry this show, and hopefully we'll pick it up here as we get into the 9:30 hour. Probably Christmas parties and whatnot. Keeping people out late. I don't know, but hopefully the crowd picks up a little bit and we can have some lively discussions. I'll move on from college basketball if we're done there for the moment. Some exciting games in the NFL since Thursday. 39-38 victory, comeback victory for Seattle on Thursday night. Sam Darnold overcoming some big Sam Darnold mistakes in this game, including a big turnover in the third quarter in the red zone. Leading Seattle back, getting them into overtime. That backwards pass fumble into the end zone. Right call by the officials, by the way. They called it right on the field, and replay confirmed it was correct. And I want to give the Seattle Charbonneau, I think, is the guy who actually got the ball in the end zone for the 2 points. It kind of looked like he just happened to pick it up and be seeing in the end zone, but I'll give him credit for knowing. I'm gonna softly give him credit for knowing the rules and staying in the play. But huge play there, obviously, and that sets them up for overtime and a great drive by Darnold in Seattle, and going for the 2-point conversion to end that game because the Rams have already scored. A tie really didn't do Seattle much good in the chase for the division title and best record in the NFC. So no hesitation and the right move to go for 2. They probably weren't going to get the ball back with any chance to probably win that game. Even if they held the Rams from scoring, they probably would not have had time left to mount another drive. The Rams do fire their special teams coach after the end of that game, interestingly enough, as well. Elsewhere, the Eagles win yesterday over the Redskins, the team formerly known as the Redskins, and game gets a little chippy when Sirianni goes for 2 with 4.5 minutes left. Was Washington going to stop playing and trying to score? Going for 2 is fine. But why are they getting upset and their manhood being questioned? Come on. Smart move. I don't spend a lot of time defending Sirianni, but good win for the Eagles. Saquon Barkley with his best game of the year. Brown with a nice game. Hurts played well. Maybe the Eagles are straightening themselves out a little bit. They clinched the East. I believe the Cowboys are now out of the playoffs. So an interesting game. But the game last night, Green Bay and Chicago in the cold. Kudos to those fans who stayed through that game. The Bears struggled mightily. Green Bay didn't play a lot better. It was 16-6 with just a couple minutes left in this game. Chicago scores twice, recovers an onside kick to tie the game 16-16. Jordan Love had been knocked out earlier in this game. Malik Willis during regulation did an okay job of keeping things together for Green Bay. Their defense played really well without Micah Parsons. But Caleb Williams played a remarkable fourth quarter and overtime. And all the Caleb Williams bashers out there, you're seeing a guy come of age. He'll make mistakes. He's a young kid, by the way. We don't give these guys a chance to grow and improve. He's still got things to improve on. The throw he made in overtime to DJ Moore, you can't throw the ball better than that. And a great call, and he led that team too. Go back and watch the fourth quarter of that game. This guy's in charge in the huddle. There's no question who the leader of this offense is. Got to give this kid his proud. I've been defending him now for 2 years. Why should I have to do that? There's a lot of quarterbacks through the history of football who have not played great football for the first 2 years in the league. Not everybody comes in and plays, like Dan Marino out of the gate. Caleb Williams, while still some inconsistency, when you can play badly for 3 quarters of a game and suck it up and play some of your best football when it matters most, that's what great quarterbacks do. That's what, listen, don't be putting words in my mouth. I'm not comparing Caleb Williams to the guys I'm going to mention. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, guys who can play horrendous. And I've seen Tom Brady play like he didn't even know how to play the game for 3 quarters sometimes and play in the fourth quarter like the GOAT that he was. That's what great quarterbacks do. Caleb Williams is not yet a great quarterback. Maybe he won't be. He's very good and getting better. And that game last night was a coming of age game for Caleb Williams. Now you got to go win some games in the playoffs. I get it. Janeski Noel, a free agent, a victim of analytics and platooning. Love to see him in the big bat Pirates have been looking for. Getting Brandon Lowe is a better move than relying on a guy like Noel in my mind, but fair. Pirates can use all the help they can get. Good morning, Can. Good to have you with us. As I mentioned, guys, make sure you check out Can and Flow on the I hope I didn't give you the wrong billing there, Can. Don't get Flo mad at me. Well, check out Can and Flow on the Bottom Line Sports podcast. We'll do our best. We did share it to our page last week. I tried to share it live for Flo. We'll try it again this week. I will be on live, by the way, probably Tuesday, maybe 6 o'clock. I'll do it Eastern. The college football huddle will do because Wednesday's Christmas Eve, so we aren't going to do any shows that night. So we'll probably do the college football huddle on Tuesday, maybe even tomorrow. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. But check out Can stuff. Can and Flow's Bottom Line Sports. Great friend of the show, and we like that. We do have a great lineup of games today. Every game seems to have some playoff implications, I guess. But you got games. Listen, Patriots and Ravens tonight. Huge game for the Patriots. You're going to see I think you're going to see. I don't know, a little disagreement with Jack. He thinks the Patriots won't be up. They were up last week. Going to be so down this week. He's missing the whole point of what Mike Vrabel's brought to this team. This team bounces back tonight. You'll find out tonight. If they don't bounce back, they're not the team that I thought they've grown into. This game tonight is big for them. Jack says it's not big. It is big. Bouncing back from a hard loss, tough loss. They should have won that game, and they gave it away. Kudos to Josh Allen, the MVP in the league. Patriots-Ravens tonight, big game. Patriots need this win, in my mind, to get right in their heads before the playoff starts. And don't get me wrong, I'm not necessarily upset they lost a game somewhere here. I'd rather have lost this week than last week. But losing a game and getting knocked down a peg is actually probably good for them going into the playoffs. Bucks and Panthers today for first place in the North. I mean, maybe they're not two of the best teams out there, but it should be an interesting game. Where is that game? I think it's in Tampa, isn't it? Hang on one second. Don't know where that game is. Got to be in. Oh, it's in Carolina. Sorry, my bad. The Jaguars go to the Denver. We're going to find out. Myself and a lot of the shows I've been on. Don't keep disrespecting the Jaguars. Well, they're a 10-win team. Now they're going to Denver. They win today. We're not going to be able to ignore them anymore. I don't think they win, but I don't think we can ignore them anymore. Denver's been riding a big winning streak in the driver's seat for the bye in the AFC now that the Patriots lost to the Bills last week. Big game, I think, for both of these teams. Jags with something to prove. Broncos with something to gain. I like the Broncos in this game. I'll go through the full slate later. 49ers and Colts ought to be interesting. Listen, if you thought the Phillip Rivers coming back last week that he looked good, maybe he looked good for a 45-year-old guy who's 50 pounds overweight like me, and hasn't played in 5 years, you'd think staying alive and not leaving in an ambulance was a success. But Phillip Rivers did not look good last week. He couldn't throw the ball more than 6 yards. He was very accurate on those 6-yard passes. I'll give him that. If you give me a little bit of protection, I could have done it. I saw Chris. Was it Chris? Chris, did you comment on the big football show about him getting off his couch? And somebody called us, we'd go. Well, if they were going to pay me, I don't think I'd go for what he's getting paid. Only the minimum, which is I think works out to like $25,000 a game. I'm not going there and risking my freaking future health for $25,000 a game. No way. I just hope he doesn't get hurt. There's Ken talking about Caleb Williams played. We're starting to get some comments now, and I keep talking. There's Danny with us. I'll come back here. A couple of good mornings. Danny popped in. Ralph pops in. Ralph Williams, check out Ralph's stuff on RW Media, specifically the Sports Corner on Tuesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Been a guest there many times. Always have a good time. Good morning to him. Good morning to Danny. Michael's with us. I think I already said good morning to him. Bill Pulver, good morning. Good to have you with us. Go Bama. They're going to get beat next week. Let me get back to Ken's comment about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams played superb. He didn't play great early in that game. You don't need to play great from gun to gun, right? Play great when the game's on the line, and he did that. If you don't think Caleb Williams is getting better, you're not really paying attention. Sorry. There are guys we just don't want to do well for whatever reason, because he paints his nails, because whatever. But Caleb Williams, you're watching the maturity of an NFL quarterback, and you're not even going to appreciate it because you're waiting for him to fail. When the first time he has a bad game, we're going to say, told you. Well, the greats all have bad games. Caleb, legit. I agree. And it's the leadership, man. It's the leadership. It's even more than the play. Will you watch him in that huddle? I'm not seeing the same Caleb Williams I saw last year. I'm seeing a Caleb Williams who is totally in charge of that offense. And they took that shot in overtime. Perfect throw. Great catch by DJ Moore. And the way the kicking was going that night, a field goal was not going to be a sure thing from anywhere. So they saw that. He talked about it in the post game that he and Ben Johnson had talked about that exact play against this team all week long. And he saw it there, and he took advantage, and and produced. Exactly right on. That's what great quarterbacks do. Agree. You know, you can play crappy forever. You play great in crunch time. It's great. We're letting young quarterback develop and not just bash them when they fail at first. What are we doing here? I don't bash young quarterbacks. I say they need a chance. Now, I have an opinion before they get started. Cam Ward, for instance, who I saw play a lot of college football and I think was a great college football quarterback, I do not think is going to be a top-level NFL starter. But I'm not writing him off just yet either. That's my opinion out of the gate before I saw him play in the NFL. I still think Shedeur Sanders can be a better quarterback than Cam Ward. I can't judge him on a great performance 2 weeks ago and a horrible performance last week and say he's either of those things. But people will, because that's what we do. Ralph, not a big promoter of Caleb Williams. I think we're seeing it. What do we need to see? What more do you need to see from Caleb? Maybe win playoff games. I get that, right? Sam Darnold's in the same position, and he's much older than Caleb Williams. But how much more do I need to see from Caleb Williams? His team is in first place with 11 wins. He led his team to a very improbable comeback victory last night where he didn't turn the ball over. Didn't play his best football until the fourth quarter, but didn't turn the ball over. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards this year, which no quarterback in Chicago has ever done. What else has he done this year? Anything good? That offensive line is protected. He got sacked 68 times last year, guys, and still had a pretty decent year. 23 times this year. That's a huge difference right there. He's gonna. Well, maybe he won't throw for. He's got a shot at 4,000. 23 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. He's thrown 12 interceptions in his 2-year career. Tell me what's not to like. And he's a leader. He's developing into a great leader in a huddle. Other than winning a playoff game, I don't know what else I got to see. And Merry Christmas to you too, Billy, and Merry Christmas to a lot of you guys out there who we won't see before the holiday. We will do, as I said, we'll have Jack and Keith's weekend playbook tomorrow morning. We will do a college football huddle. I think we'll do it Tuesday. I'm going to do it a little bit earlier at 5 or 6 o'clock, maybe. We'll see. But I'll make an announcement on TGI Sports Talk when we do that. Michael checked out the Bottom Line Sports podcast last week. It was really good and he enjoyed it. Heartily recommend. There you go. You got a great recommendation there. Can and Flo from Michael. I did see Michael got there. I don't know if you got there from my page or not. Michael, but I hope you did because I had a little trouble sharing it. I was confused on which show because there was another one playing on YouTube. Anyway, I think we got it figured out. It's about time the Pirates do something. Ralph in Ocean City, Maryland, but from Pittsburgh and a big Pittsburgh fan. Getting Brandon Lowe is, I guess, a good move. He's a cop. He's a competent Major League Baseball player. He's not turning a franchise around. They're key. If you want to know if this team's going to win, Ralph, you're going to know when you see what they do with Paul Skeens. If they don't find a way to keep him, then you know they don't care about winning. Pirates getting Low and Mangum is another good pickup for them as well. And I like Low. But again, he's not a guy going to turn your franchise around. This team needs a lot. Paul Skeens is a guy. I'm telling you, if they don't re-sign him, you're going to see that it's just going to be business as usual in Pittsburgh. Chris misses steroids in baseball. I didn't have that on my bingo card today. Wiley Joyner admitted taking them for one season. Remember his sophomore stats? Well, he said he had fun, but it's not who I am, back when players could police themselves. Well, maybe they had more character. We know my feelings on stats, or on steroids. Go Pats, 100%. You want them. You just want Baltimore to lose. Tampa Bay struggling badly. And again, this is a huge game. If they don't win this game, they've got 2 games with Carolina. So they're not out of this if they lose this game. But I think mentally, and again, momentum's a real thing. Jack Hirsch doesn't want to agree with me. Momentum's a real thing, good and bad. And the momentum in Tampa has been going the wrong direction for quite a while. And confidence levels can't be lower. If they lose this game, they're going to lose both games to Carolina, in my mind, and we'll lose the division. I think this game decides who wins that division. Hello, Danny, again. Good to have you with us. Danny would not watch any of that Oregon game last night. I've already talked a little bit about this, Danny, but we can certainly go down that road again, as we've still got an hour-ish to go, and we got plenty we can talk about. Go back and talk about the college football playoff yesterday, any of the NFL stuff you want to talk about. I want to do the picks, and we'll look at the standings. Baseball, Jake Paul, WNBA labor, ridiculous labor strike. Go ahead and strike, ladies, and see where they get you. Maybe the NBA says, let's just pull the plug on this because we're tired of losing money year after year after year. Give me your feelings on the Knicks winning the NBA Cup. I don't care. I just care that they won games. That's all I care about. The health insurance for his kids for 10 more years was worth it. Rivers to return. I don't know if he's going to get 10 more years out of insurance. Again, the way I understand it, he's getting about $25,000 a game. Maybe not. I don't know. He's paying 10 kids health insurance for 10 years. Well, if he plays 4 games, that's $100,000, maybe. Is it risk? He's putting himself at risk, though, man. He'll be up to his own life insurance. I don't mean to make light of it, but. Ben Johnson for sure. Ben Johnson's a great quarterback whisperer. He turned Jared Goff into one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. You think the Rams gave up on them because he thought Jared Goff was going to play like he played in Detroit? Ben Johnson's been a very good first-year head coach. This team got better. If you remember the week, I don't remember who they played, but they played atrocious. And he talked about how the players were going to hate practice this week, and there's going to be some unhappy campers because he was going to be beating them up. And I'm likely he did, and they've been on fire since then. Great job. Hello, CA. Good to have you with us. CA down there in Texas country. Sorry for the AMN law. I don't think you're an AMN fan, but great win for Miami yesterday. You guys can look at this and look at the lack of scoring and say this is a boring game. You can look at it any way you want. This was a fun game to watch if you like old school football, and 2 of the best defenses in the country. You watched 2 guys on Miami yesterday in the front who are going to go in the first round. One of them's probably going top 5 in Bain. Texas A&M with a lot of great players. And you saw a chess match between these offensive coordinators where they would move the ball, couldn't get to the end zone, and nobody could make a kick. So great game yesterday and a lot of fun. And Texas Tech goes and plays Oregon next week. Never too late, Michael Abrams. Good to have you with us, my friend. Michael says he got the Flow and Can show from my share. That's good. Your subscription to podcasts today ran out, so I rely on you. Fair enough. Listen, anybody who lets me share, Can and Flow have been kind enough to let me share my show to theirs. We don't do it live there, but we do share it after the fact. And anybody who does that for me, I'm willing to help out as well. Ralph has done some sharing of the show and some other people. And when I don't always think of it because I don't know how I found time to work, but Daddy's biggest knock on Caleb, and I stand by it, is he was a waste of worthy number one pick. That's not his fault, though. Well, that's debatable, too. I mean, listen, you know how much I love my quarterback. And again, I'm not going to argue that point because my point is you don't take quarterbacks at 1. You don't take quarterbacks in the top 10. Because historically, quarterbacks drafted in the first round don't work out. They work out 8% of the time if you're talking about Super Bowl victories. 8% of the time. You get a Super Bowl victory from drafting a guy in the first round. And that again, remember, there's some great quarterbacks drafted in the first round that have won Super Bowls. That just tells you how many quarterbacks have failed. Because when I have this conversation, people invariably say, all these quarterbacks that win Super Bowls were drafted in the first round. Not all of them, number one. Number two, you're not taking into account, you're still bucking the odds that you're going to pick the right one. Because 92% of them failed. Most of them more miserably than just not making a quarterback. So again, I agree with your argument about the number one pick. But that's not on him. I think Daniel Jones was unjustly judged here in New York for his whole career, 6 years, whatever it was, because of where he was picked, solely because of where he was picked. If he was a third round pick, nobody would have been on Daniel Jones the way they were. So I wouldn't have been taking any quarterbacks in those positions. Now, three teams. Who else won that draft besides him in May? Two teams have hit the lottery. Right? I'm trying to think who was the other quarterback. Who was the other quarterback? Who'd you have ahead of him besides him? I'm missing somebody. I don't know who. It's certainly not Penix. It's certainly not McCarthy. It's certainly not Bo Nix. Well, maybe you are thinking Nix, but I'm not. Caleb Williams is better than Bo Nix. Joe Cullen lost. Going to be much conversation over controversial match. What was that in? Because I think I heard this name earlier today. I don't know what we were talking about, though, CA. My apologies. Good morning, Matt. Matt, many of your beautiful cards are adorning my studio Christmas tree. Not sure how well you can see that. We've also got a lot of them strewn around on top of some other plaques and such. I love the fact, Matt, out of the kindness of his heart, knowing I'm a Patriot and Yankee fan, has sent me a bunch of cards. And he may have listened to a bunch of Patriots and Yankee cards, other than one, which I'll point out in a second. But he also listened to the fact that I don't remember him asking me, but Bobby Mercer was my guy when I was a kid. And I got a bunch of Bobby Mercer cards from him. So I'm really happy about that. Thank you so much, Matt. And I know John isn't with us yet. Let me just see if he's liked the show or anything. Matt, I need to know if you sent me this card because of my ongoing conversation with the great John Gonzalez from the Sports Authorities about one Joe Willie Namath, who I feel I'm misunderstood about. But thank you, my friend. Ben Johnson, coach of the year, close. You know what? I agree, man. I had Vrabel. Vrabel was running away with this in my mind. But the way the Bears have stepped it up over this second half of the season, I think Ben Johnson might. And there's a bunch of worthy candidates, right? I'm not sure I've ever seen a season with more worthy candidates than this year. Because you could make an argument for Ben Johnson. You can make an argument for Sean Payton, quite frankly. You can make an argument for, Shane Stitchen, I think you could have. Now I'm not sure about that. You can make an argument for Jim Harbaugh. You can make an argument for McVay. You can make an argument for Vrabel, obviously. You can make an argument for, I'm not going to make an argument for him, Kyle Shanahan. What a great job Kyle Shanahan's done this year with his quarterback out half the season. George Kittle, a shadow of himself. Ayuk not playing at all and probably won't again. Mike McDonald out in Seattle. Yeah, that's a lot of guys, man. You can make an argument for a lot of guys. Oh, Daniels, yes. Thank you, Danny. I don't know why I couldn't think of him. I think Caleb's better than Daniels, too. He's shown he can stay healthier, for one thing. Now, Daniels did take his team to the NFC Championship game last year, so he's got that. He's won playoff games. I'm not going to make an argument right now. I think Caleb Williams is developing to being at least as good as the two guys you talked about. And one of them was my guy, who I think is better than either one of them, quite frankly. Thank you, Paul. We've reached the Tiger Woods segment of the show with Mr. Chris F. Grave. Tiger will reach the age of 50 December 30th. I must be old, man. Facing doubts about his sporting future. He has no sporting future anywhere but the Champions Tour, by the way. But as a key business figure who will define the course of the PGA Tour undergoing restructuring to compete with Live Golf. He'll be a big part of that. Regardless of what he does playing, I think Tiger Woods is going to be a big part of the future, the course that the future of the PGA and Live take together. Remember, these guys merged, if you will, or whatever, or came to an agreement. I don't even know what we call it. Nearly 2 years ago now. And nothing's changed. And I'm not giving anybody in Live, by the way, fold the Live tournament, stop taking blood money from the Saudis, and then maybe I'll earn some respect back for some of you guys who went there to take the blood money and felt you didn't need to compete. Now you still want to come here and play for majors. Oh my God. I turned it on. It didn't turn into a fight until Tucker decided. The referee even had enough. If you read, I read an article anyway that said he at some point said, "Knock it off, let's fight," and stop just grabbing, holding, and running around. Jake Paul's a fraud. Jack says he's a legitimate fighter. Not again. He shouldn't be fighting heavyweights. He's a cruiserweight. The size difference was, to me, remarkable when this fight started. So to answer your question, I did watch it only because I was still wide awake when the Oklahoma-Alabama game got over, and I said, well, I'm awake. And there's an hour of my life I'm never going to get back. Mike McDonald done a great job, Danny. Everybody in that division, three coaches in that division anyway, have done a great job and are going to get votes for Coach of the Year. McVay, McDaniel, and Shanahan, all going to get consideration. Yeah, I'm thinking you stuck him in there because of my little dispute with Mr. Gonzalez. Thank you anyway. Yeah. DeMarco Ryans, another guy, started 0-3. What are they, 9-5? What are they now? Are they 9-5 now? I think going to win the Central. I'm sorry, the South. I still think they beat Jacksonville out. Won 6 in a row. Now they're 9-5. What a great job by DeMarco Ryans. Good call, Paul. Yeah, listen. It's a natural reaction if see guys who go in the same draft, we got to compare them, right? And their careers. All three of these guys are studs. Daniel's a stud. Drake May's a stud. And certainly Caleb Williams is a stud. They're all studs. How they get coached and the teams they play on are going to determine the ultimate success, which is winning Super Bowls, which is how quarterbacks are ultimately going to get judged, right? Just the way that it works. Fair or unfair. If Dan Marino had won one Super Bowl, he'd been looked at a whole lot differently than he is today. Still one of the great quarterbacks of all time. Fran Tarkenton. Great quarterbacks don't win because of situations, circumstances. All three of these guys are studs. And by the way, Nix is no slouch. J.J. McCarthy, I'm telling you, will be a player in this league. Again, another great example of here we are giving up on a guy who's only played about 9 games. Played pretty good last week. Starting to get it. You got to play, man. You sat out a whole year, didn't have a chance to pick up on the speed and just the speed difference in the games from college to the pros. Rick Sherlock, if you're still here, or if you, I don't know if I saw Rick earlier or not. Don't fret, man. You didn't make the wrong decision keeping McCarthy and not Mark Darnold. You couldn't keep both and not pay Darnold what he wanted. And J.J. McCarthy needed to play. He'll get better. Carolina Panthers head. I would say Canales. Canales. I don't know how you say his name. Canales. He'll get some consideration, but I don't think he's gonna. And I wasn't predicting a 1-2 season for them. You go back and look at the tapes. I mean, which they aren't lost. They're all here. This one and the Big Football Show where we did some predictions. I mean, I thought they'd win 8 or 9 games, which is about where they're going to finish. I didn't know they'd win this division. I thought they and the Patriots would be two of the most improved teams this year, and the Bears. I didn't really miss too much on teams I thought would do well. What team did I think would do well? Last year we flamed out on the Giants. We flamed out on the Bears. I was a year too early on the Bears. I guess I flamed out a little on the Chiefs because I said they were not done yet, but they apparently are. Flamed out on the Commanders, which I'm sure a lot of people did. I had the Vikings last in that division. Wasn't that high in the Falcons? Yeah. Overall, this year has been a lot better than last year. Yeah, DeMarco Ryans a great. It's a good one that slipped me as I was going through the list of coaches here. That one got by me a little bit, so good job. Oh, by the way, Danny, just because you like to bust my balls, I brought my Nutcracker here. I thought this is my Patriot Nutcracker. Probably something that you to be able to make use of. DeMarco Ryan, Houston Texans coach, especially if they win out in the division. See, I'm starting to figure out your Danny's messages when he's talking into his phone. Crazy Dallas favored by a point. I think we got this one, though. I'm a little surprised they're favored in this game myself. You are playing at Dallas. I tell you, great win last week for San Diego. I love Harbaugh. I'm a big Harbaugh fan, much to the dismay of most of our listening audience. I love Herbert. Hampton's starting to play well. A lot of injuries on that defense. I worry about them winning this game today. Shortest day of the year today. We do have, this is, tomorrow is the official, tonight, I guess, is the meteorological beginning of winter is today. Shortest day of the year. Nowhere to go up from here. Agreed. I hate this time of year, man. I am not good with the dark. It's a little better since I retired because I'm not necessarily up every day in the dark and working until it's dark or well past dark. You know, there were years when we worked home. I worked from home the last 5 years of my career before I retired here in August. So it wasn't quite as bad, but before that, and before we moved into some new offices in 2012, 10 years before that, we worked in a building where my office had no windows. And there was only a few windows in the whole place. You go up to reception, there'd be windows. I didn't go out for lunch a lot. I worked through lunch. I ordered in, whatever. I would go weeks where I would only see the sun on weekends because I'd get into work. You know, I was one to get into work by 6 in the morning. Dark can be. Leave at 6. Dark as dark can be. I wouldn't see sunshine. Like I said, 5 days a week. No sunshine. I might as well have been living in freaking Alaska. Tim Horton was original. I thought he made donuts. Was the original hockey enforcer in low penalty minutes. His mere size and presence worked louder than fists. He also made some great donuts. Got to be a different guy, right? NFC West will have the Super Bowl winner this year. There's Alan. My condolences on your loss Friday night, Alan. How far behind am I? Not bad. My condolences on your loss Friday night, Alan. The better team won. Successful year. You made the playoff. Your coach saves his job, and Mateer's not the answer. We'll see. We'll give him a chance. I just talked about letting quarterbacks develop, right? So NFC West will have the Super Bowl winner this year. Well, I see only 2 teams. I see 3 teams in the AFC that can win. My team being one of them. But I don't see the Broncos, Bills, or Patriots. Got to be one of those 3 teams. But the NFC is wide open. Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers all going to be in the playoffs. And maybe a season of beating each other up isn't good. I don't know. But they certainly will be favored. I would think those 3 teams would be if they might be the 3 favorites in the betting. You go to DraftKings or whatever. I mean, if I looked right now, they might be the 3 betting favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. You may be absolutely right, Alan. Personally, I don't think that will happen. As it stands now, I have Houston and the Rams in the Super Bowl. As it stands now, I have the Patriots and the Rams in the Super Bowl. No submarine sandwiches, but we'll have a couple of light beers because we're still focusing on getting healthy and losing some weight. Unsure how noticeable it is on camera because the camera makes you look so much fatter. but we're down 26 pounds now. And the only day I drink beer now is on Sunday during football. I'll probably have 4 or 5 light beers today, and that'll be my drinking for the week. I'm still not the biggest Bo Nix fan in the world. He makes some stupid mistakes. I'd rate him 4th in that class right now. And there I am doing the same thing. But good quarterback. Marino's a god in South Florida when I lived there. Of course he is. He should be. Marino's a great player. I knew who you meant. Great player. Never won a Super Bowl, and it hurts him in the standings of, especially as time goes by and you lose sight of the fact of watching. If you didn't watch Dan Marino play, you didn't realize how good he was. Dan Marino, quite frankly, might be the best quarterback of all time if he'd won a couple of Super Bowls. I would look at him differently. He doesn't even come to my mind right now. Because it's all, my first thought's always, obviously Brady and Manning. But if I'm going top 10 quarterbacks right now, still, Marino's probably 3rd. After the top 2, I'll tell you what. After number 1, who's Brady, I'm going to give you in no particular order: Mahomes, Manning, Marino, Elway, Tarkenton, Favre, Rodgers. How many do I have? Is that 8? Somebody egregious I'm forgetting. Marino. I didn't say Marino in there, did I? And well, I'll give you those guys for now. Argue away. Who'd I blatantly miss in that list? I can add one person, I think, by my count. Alan says that at this point, Matt Eberfloss is fighting for his job. He's already lost his job, as far as I can see. He's doing a poor job of it. Alan says the same thing I say. Moving up to the booth to get a better view tells me he's checked out. He was probably told to go to the booth so he could be checked out. Then he'll lose his credentials, and that'll be that. Why is that, Alan? They aren't trading him if they don't have better options. Why? That's a bit random. Because here's the thing, Stephon Diggs, and believe me, if you're not close to this situation, because there's nothing that gets by me on the Patriot level. Stephon Diggs, except for the one little transgression in the preseason with the pink dust, has been the epitome of a great teammate this year and done everything the Patriots have asked him to do and done it as an upstanding citizen. Now, that is not unusual for him in his first season somewhere. I will give you that. But I see nothing in the tea leaves that say they're going to trade Diggs in the offseason. Number one, you're not going to get much. You're not going to get great value for him at his age, as far as draft picks. And number two, right this second, they don't have anybody to step up and take his place. He's still the number one guy. They have a bunch of really decent receivers, but nobody closer than Diggs to being a number one. I'm just curious what you got to have some reason for saying that. Remember, when I stopped talking to you, I don't like you, so I must really love you. I'm the same way, Danny. I'm the same way. I'm a believer in the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. So again, if I stop paying attention to somebody, well, then they've lost me. F winter. I agree. As the older I get, the more I hate it. But yet it was 60 degrees. And we don't really get winters here anymore in upstate New York. We used to. Not in the capital region. I mean, when I was a kid, we have 80 or 90 inches of snow cover now. There's nothing here. We get a foot of snow and then it's gone in 3 days. Well, it was here, but I shouldn't say that. We had a foot of snow and it was here for about 10 days and it's all melted. In 2 days, it all melted. No, love winter. Michael loves winter, especially down here in North Carolina where summers are unbearable. I hate summer with a passion, but you're not getting winter the way we do here in the north. Cold. Ugh. Right? It's too hard. Slow down, Paul. I'm going to tell you right now. Don't. You know what I found out when I retired? That I should have found a way to do it a long time ago. Not to jinx myself, but I'm going to live a lot longer. I can tell you right now. If I kept working, every day that I worked, I could feel a little bit of my extended life being taken away from me. God, it's so great not to have that weighing on my shoulders. Tim Horton, love the memory. Bob Probert. How come nobody mentions NHL Goons the best? How come nobody mentions his donuts? Come on, man. Alan's sugarcoating his loss from Friday. I saw his comments yesterday. And that's a bad loss. No matter how no matter how you stack it up, it's a bad loss. And I'd rather have an ugly win than a bad loss. Or a good loss or whatever. A good loss, I guess, would be how Oklahoma fans wanted to portray this. Look, I'm going to say once again, if there were no rankings until after the championship games, Oklahoma and Alabama would not have been in this playoff. Neither one of them. Oklahoma had the good fortune of being in a spot where the very first ranking they got ranked and they didn't, and the committee had no way to back away from them if they didn't lose a game, and they weren't going to lose a game from that point on. Notre Dame and Texas are both better than Alabama and Oklahoma. I don't care that Oklahoma beat Texas either. Oh, wait, Texas beat Oklahoma, didn't they? What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Let me look back there. I got to check this out. I'm sure Alan's typing furiously as I look back. For whatever reason, I'm having a little brain fart here. Yeah, they beat Oklahoma 23-6. Head-to-head doesn't matter there either. So head-to-head only matters when we want it to matter. Head-to-head wasn't going to matter in the Miami Notre Dame until they got next to each other in the thing. So head-to-head can't matter for Oklahoma and Texas. I'm not saying Texas belonged in. I'm just saying Oklahoma did. If you want the best 12 teams, go out and get the best 12 teams. And I know that really goes against, giving the group of 5 or group of 6 next year a chance. But if you can't be in the top 12 teams, then don't be in. I was a big proponent of this playoff. I was a big proponent of letting the little guy get a chance. It's not working. I can admit when I'm wrong. I'm not going to sit here and defend something I said that was so obviously wrong now, 2 years later. Cincinnati belonged in the playoff that year because they were one of the top 4 teams in the country by the ranking. You're going to see changes next year. You're going to see changes next year. You're never going to see 2 of these teams get in ever again. I've come to terms with the projected. Now, Alan, to be fair, you were not projecting them to win 7 games. People like me were. I'm not big on moral victories, really not. Perceptions change. Once you get there, it's still disappointing. Don't mask your disappointment. It's okay to say you're disappointed in your team for blowing a 17-point lead and basically getting dominated from that point. Although they did manage to stay within striking distance. You can't tell me your perception hasn't changed. I projected my NFL team to win 8 or 9 games and be in the playoff hunt, not be in a hunt for a bye in the AFC. Anything short of the bye, that might be out of the range now. But anything short of success in the playoffs now is a disappointment. Perceptions change. And again, I'm going to go back to, I don't remember. I trust you to be honest with me. I don't think you were projecting to win 7 games. I was. Because I'm a big fan of your coach. Not a big fan of your quarterback. Paul's got to go get in the car. I'll hook up in the car and listen. Thanks, Paul, for tuning in today. What time is it? 10:24. We got about 20 minutes left. We haven't had a Luke Voigt update in a while from Chris. Chris, who did he sign with, by the way? Marino was surging, could dissect any defense. Amazing. Imagine if he had a defense. Imagine if he had a running game. How Don Shula doesn't, and Shula gets, rightly so, Don Shula is one of the great coaches of all time. But Shula's got to, people talk about how Bill Belichick didn't win any Super Bowls without Tom Brady. Fair question. How does Don Shula not win any Super Bowls with Dan Marino? That might be a better question. I left Montana out. Thank you. I blatantly left out Montana. How did I do that? Brady, Montana. Bradshaw's overrated, by the way. You're not going to be in my top 10. Mahomes, Marino, Tarkenton, Elway, Favre, Rodgers. No, I'm missing guys. I still got 2 guys left. Who did I miss? Breeze. Not sure. Not sure. His leadership off the charts, 100%. Great quarterback. I don't think I can put him on a list with the other guys, only because he didn't play long enough. And he didn't win enough Super Bowl. What do you win, 2? That's not bad. Great player, though, man. And again, maybe he lost some really peak years to the Navy. Good morning, Donna. Nice to have you with us. Yeah, I did forget Montana. I don't know how I forgot that. That's a blatant oversight on my part. So we'll put him 1, 2. Again, after Brady, I got no certain order. Montana, Mahomes. By the way, don't diss Mahomes. He's a great quarterback and a big reason that there's 3 Super Bowls trophies in Kansas City. Oh, Trayvon. Sorry. I got no insight on Trayvon. Not one. Good morning, Michael. Trayvon has been checked out since Micah got traded. He got a mysterious concussion we still know nothing about, and I don't think the future defensive philosophy will fit his game. Is there a defensive philosophy in Dallas? I would question that there's any philosophy at all, Alan. How far behind am I? 10 minutes. In Canadian Football League, the Toronto Argonauts roster is compiled with 3/4 of its roster being of American birth. I couldn't tell you if that's unusual or not, quite frankly. I'm not sure. No to winter for Donna. Mother Nature has her panties in an uproar with all this crazy weather. Yeah, we go from 0 to 60 in about 36 hours here. Because it's cold again now. It's 60 on Friday. Alan grew up in the panhandle of Oklahoma where you got hot, dry air from Arizona, New Mexico, and cool mountain from Colorado. Summers are 110 as dry heat. Does that matter, though? And 20 below with a lot of snow. You get snow and 20 below zero, Alan? I did not know that. By the way, 110 is hot, whether it's dry or humid. Although, I will say this. Many years back, I visited some friends in Palm Springs for a week or so. And 115 every day. I'm not even sure why they have weathermen because the forecast is the same every day in Palm Springs. But I will tell you, different than New York. So it's 100 degrees. It's 95 degrees here in New York. And you're sweating like a pig because of the humidity. You get in the shade, it's still sweating like a pig because of the humidity. But if you get in Palm Springs, and maybe it's the same way in the Panhandle where it's dry, it's 115 degrees, and you get in the shade, you actually feel some real relief. Your Bears come back and won. You turned it off with 5 minutes to go. Come on, Donna. Don't beat yourself up too bad. They were playing horribly. And we talked a lot on the show about Caleb Williams really stepping up last week, and that's what really good quarterbacks do. He didn't play well. The team didn't play well for 3 quarters. Crunch time comes, 5 minutes to go. They find a way to score twice to send it to overtime, and the defense comes up big. Well, big mistake by Green Bay in overtime, I guess. But Bears would have got the ball regardless, and rather than settling for a field goal attempt, and a night it was tough to kick field goals. They found a play that they'd been looking at all week against that defense and saw the right moment to try it. And he hits DJ Moore with just a great throw. And he's a leader in that huddle. Watching him in the fourth quarter and in overtime, you could see who was in charge. And that is a big step in the right direction for Caleb Williams. I love the growth this kid has had. I've been defending him for a year now, and I'll continue to do that. But a great win for your Bears and your Eagles, because I know you have 2 teams, Donna. I don't understand it. I'm trying to get some help for you. Can't have 2 teams. My thought is they need to take division record away and structure it. My thought is they need to take division record away and structure it on overall record. Well, you mean conference record? Because there are no divisions hardly anywhere except for like the Sun Belt. Also, don't have weekly rankings to do a final ranking like the college basketball does. I agree 100%, especially on the rank. The conference still matters, I think. But doing those 5 weeks of reveals is ridiculous. It opens you up for all these stupid arguments that we had. The fact that Notre Dame is ranked above Miami until they aren't. When neither team had done anything to really warrant a change. Either Miami was better 5 weeks before or they weren't. We have to wait till they're lined up side by side in the rankings, so use head to head. It's just stupid. So you're right, Alan, 100%. The first Tim Hortons establishment was a burger joint up in Huntsville, Ontario, not long after the second building was devoted to coffee and donuts. Look at that. I'm learning so much about Tim Horton. By the way, is it the same Tim Horton or not? That way you don't get 7-win Duke playing for conference title. Or you want to do away with the conference championship games? I don't know the answer there, Alan. I mean, again, the problem is we have 16 and 18 leagues, 18-team leagues. I think you need divisions. I think you need to go back to divisions. If you're going to play conference championship games, you need divisions. You know, and the tiebreaker Notre Dame actually doesn't get in because of the tiebreaker in the ACC. At the end of the day, because if Miami gets in as a winner in the ACC, then we don't have James Madison in there. We have Notre Dame. Gamblers love the 2 mismatches yesterday, no doubt. Well, you didn't win if you bet Oregon. They didn't cover. Bet the over. I didn't bet either one of those games. I didn't like them. Those are the games that, backdoor covers happen and shit happens. I should have been less afraid with Ole Miss, apparently. I think Ole Miss, again, regardless of the blowout, the Ole Miss game had a pretty good storyline because we didn't know what to expect from Ole Miss with everything that had gone on there. My collar's so messed up. Jeepers, creepers. Sorry about the being so disheveled. But I don't know a gambler who's probably happy with that Oregon. How many people bet James Madison? I think I said 9 wins early, so still a net positive. You're wavering there, Alan. Did you pick him in the playoff? Did you have him in the playoff? If you had him in the playoff, you can't just say, I'm happy to have been there. If you didn't expect them to get there and then they got there, I guess you can say you're happy. But I can tell you, Danny Fuller will back me up here. I'm second place is just the first loser kind of guy. So if you don't win, anything short of winning is a disappointment. I'm not going to be happy with Miami unless they win a national championship. That's not likely to happen. But I'm not going to be happy with the season no matter what unless they win. I won't be happy with the Patriots season now unless they win. Now, will I find some positives that came out of the seasons? Sure. Not going to be happy. I'm in it to win it, man. I don't have that many years left on this. You got a lot more years left than I got, Alan. I don't have that many more years left. I need more Super Bowls. I need more World Series. Many as I can get. I'm a glutton. Power 4 champions get an auto bid. Now Notre Dame gets an auto bid if they rank top 12. First of all, that's going to change to at least 14, so they got to be top 13. And if they go to 16, that agreement's out the window. Although it probably won't matter. 1G, and it'll be 5. It'll be 5. A group of 5. Sorry, it'll be group of 6 next year, not group of 5. Because don't forget the Pac-12 is back. First of all, it's not the NCAA. Why we have to start remembering. NCAA has nothing to do with the college football playoff, guys. The organization known as the NCAA has nothing to do with the playoff. The conferences run the playoff, not the NCAA. So who are they going to sue? The conferences? Yeah, they can sue them. But what legal? What are you going to sue? What basis are you going to sue on? Listen, I was all for a little guy getting in. But the problem is you're going to keep telling me you want the best 12 teams, but then we have to take we take 2 of these teams. You put them in if they reach a certain rank. Whatever it is. If it's 12, they got to be in the top 12. Then they're guaranteed. Then I can't drop them. If it's 16, they got to be within the top 16. Why is that not fair? Why does that leave them open to legal trouble? How do you have an argument if you're ranked 25th and you have an argument that you belong in a 12-team tournament? What court of law is going to listen to that argument? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot the country I live in. That's right. Participation trophies. Nah, he's not top 10. Not top 10. Top 20. Listen, there's no shame in being in the top 20. Top 10 for me, and I know Big Ben won a couple of Super Bowls. I get it, but so did Eli Manning. I won't put Eli Manning in the top 10. I have trouble getting Eli Manning in the top 20, quite frankly. I got to get through these comments. We only got 6 minutes left. And after, in a month or so, maybe less than a month, we'll see. No, at least a month. We'll be back to full 2 hours. We'll go back to, 11 o'clock. If we had next year's structure this year, Duke replaces JMU, and despite head-to-head Irish over Miami, head-to-head Irish again over Miami, unless the committee grows a set and kicks Alabama out too. Listen, I won't argue with there. Alabama should be out, but so should. Listen, I find it hard to believe, Alan. You're right. Alabama belongs out, but they made the conference championship of the same league you play in. Both Oklahoma and Alabama would be out. Should be out. I don't know how Duke replaces JMU. Actually, if we had next year's structure, Notre Dame would be in and Tulane would be in. We don't know that we have 14 teams yet. We also don't know how many teams we have. So Duke wouldn't have been in any event. I'm not sure I'm not sure where you're getting that from. Maybe I could be overlooking something. Your young brain seems to sometimes find things that I overlook. Rivers, 18 for 27, 130 yards. Great. Not great, but good enough to what? Lose. Yeah. He couldn't complete a pass past 6 yards. They're not going to win a game that he plays. I'm not the only guy who saw this guy not able to throw the football more than 6 yards. I mean, am I saying for sitting around for 5 years, being 50 pounds overweight? Maybe he did okay. All right. It is the same as Tim Horton. All right. He played his cards right, starting a new career as his hockey life was wrapping up. Poor guy passed away totally ripped in a driving accident. What's that? I didn't know any of that. I just know the Tim Hortons donuts. Don, my guess is Big Ben is in the third top 10, maybe. That's fair. I might get him in the top 20. I'm not sure. Hello, AC, by the way. I didn't see it, everybody. Good to have you with us. I'm in agreement with Alan and Keith. Do away with the conference championship games because if you're BYU, you get penalized for losing 100%. But if you're Alabama, it's considered an extra game and shouldn't count. Yeah. We don't play by the same rules, right? It's not cool. Hello, Josh. Good to have you with us. Don't know if Josh has been with us before, but it's great to have you with us. Unfortunately, we're wrapping it up here in about 3 minutes. So, the standing in the NBA for who? We'll get into the NBA. And I don't have time to dive into the NBA now. Unfortunately, I got to wrap it up here in about 3 minutes, maybe 5. We'll see. But we'll be diving more into the NBA going forward. There's some really great stories in the NBA so far. The Thunder look unbeatable. They have lost a couple of games, but they look like they may win 75 games. The Knicks have played well. The Pistons have played well. The Lakers have played well. The Spurs are improving. There's a lot of great stories in the NBA that we'll be getting into, Josh. So I hope you continue to tune in Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern for this show. Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook, Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern. The College Football Huddle at 7 p.m. Eastern on all these great channels wherever you might be watching right now. Give Keith more cowbell. I do want more of everything. From Philippines. Oh, Josh from the Philippines. Good to have you with us. Another country heard from today. Your standard time, you're 11:37 p.m. God bless you. You're nearly 11 hours ahead of us. Good to have you with us, Josh. First Filipino. Well, I don't think if you're Filipino, you may be Filipino. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You're the first person from the Philippines to tune in. How about that? I know we've had followers, but it's great to have you with us, Josh, and I hope you catch us more often as well. Could have taken a collection of Texas high school players that didn't make state playoffs, and they have them ready to crush James Madison. I agree. Well, I enjoyed my pars yesterday, under in the Miami and over in both JUCO games. I didn't mind. Couldn't pick a team yesterday. My best pick today, I like the Broncos today a lot. Yeah, hold on. I like the Broncos a lot. And believe it or not, because I'm not a homer with my team necessarily, I like the Patriots. See if there's somebody else that stands out to me, because I haven't taken a hard look yet. I don't like the line in that. I almost like the Panthers at home, quite frankly, but I'm not sold on them yet. So I like Denver. I like the Patriots. And if I had to give you one more game, man, Buffalo might have a little letdown here, but I'm just going to give you that. Broncos and Patriots today. You have a great football Sunday too, Donna. She'll see you. We are in upstate New York, Josh. Half Moon, New York, which is kind of between Albany and Saratoga, New York. Post-playing career with great beer talk. Paul Coffey had his own Toyota dealership. Really? Hockey players seem to have second careers more than others. Just going to move on. Only for the sake of time, Chris. Don't take offense. OKC playing well. You got that going for you. I'm watching every day in the NBA. We'll be moving into the NBA now. Lakers lost. I'm sad. You're a fan of the Lakers. Luka out for a little bit with the Lakers, but playing good basketball. Absolutely, Josh. Please tune in more to the show. Go to TGI Sports Talk. Follow the show on Facebook, and you should get notified when we go live. I'm going to do a new promo for the shows too soon. You guys, Michael, you have a blessed Sunday as well. And Peg, who's your teams, by the way? It's Pagan in the Philippines, still as beautiful as ever. Been 16 years since it's been there. Thank you for tuning in, Danny. Thank all of you for tuning in. Please, Josh, answer Danny's question if you could in the comments, even after I stop the show. We're going to be having some new stuff going on. Great to have you guys with us. Tomorrow morning is Jack and Jackie's Weekend Playbook. Bye-bye. Thank you, Josh.